I want to say hello, welcome. Good to see you all the way from Ghana. I'm across the sea on an exploratory mission so that we can all learn as Black people how to be better Black people, how to be wealthier Black people, and how we can link into the diaspora, how we can link in around the world. In order to benefit ourselves. Now, as we get started, please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, please do that. Also, as you come in, please shout out your city and or the name of your business. So if you have a business, let us know the name of your business. If you have a city that you're from or the city that you're repping, shout out the name of your city. I'm gonna give you guys time to do that while I go ahead and let everybody know that we're live. If you want to get a text notification that we're live, just text the word Boyce, BOYCE. Text Boyce to 31996. Just text the word Boyce to 31996. So I want to say hello, Akil and Irene. Good to see you. All right, so we talked a little bit earlier today, and you guys know, I think I'm on day 3 of my trip to Ghana. Today is Monday. And let's see, I got on my plane Friday. So I guess technically that would be Friday. If you count Friday, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday. So I think that's 4 days. The jet lag got me all thrown off, man. I can't keep up with nothing. I don't know which way's up, which way's down, none of that. But it doesn't matter because I'm here with you right now, and that's what really matters to me. So please hit the thumbs up button real quick. I'm going to let the world know that we're live. If you want to get a notification when we go live, text the word Boyce to 31996. Text Boyce to 31996. So give me 1 second here. Let's see. All right. Okay. All right. So here we go. All right. So basically, I want to kind of use this trip to Ghana as not just an exploratory mission to find out about investment opportunities that are here, but also to really help us understand, how Africa fits into the global economic landscape and why we are the richest. Africa actually is the richest continent on Earth, and why Africa has the richest future on Earth. Africa is going to be very wealthy in the future. There are a lot of great things that are going to occur in the African continent, and I really think that you guys really want to understand that. And I see my brother Marcus from Guyana, Priscilla's from Phoenix. Good to see you. God sent 5683. Bless you. Bless you too. Thank you very much for your kind words. And Angel and Anita and Taylor and Gordon from Montgomery, Alabama. Anita is Stephen. Is that Stephen King, like the author, or Southern King? Southern King. My bad. Well, actually, I'm here with the King of the South. The rapper T.I. is in my hotel right now. I haven't bumped into him yet, though. I hope I get a chance to talk to him. I did see Pastor Jamal Bryant. He's part of our delegation. Billionaire Mike Roberts, who was a hotel guy. He's here along with his son, Michael Roberts Jr., and a lot of other great people. Anyway, I want to start off by kind of talking about, the investment in Africa and some of the conversations I've had with others about my decision to come over here and how that fits into the overall economic power plan for Black people. You guys know that we are about power. We are about solutions. We're about building. And one of the things we have in the Black Business School, I keep my Black Business School portfolio with me everywhere I go. In the Black Business School, we have one thing we have in place for the Black community worldwide as a plan, an economic plan, is what we call Project 2070. Project 2070 says that by the year 2070, we want the Black community in the U.S. and around the world to be the most financially literate group of people on the planet. We want Black people to be the most economically intelligent people on the face of the earth. We want Black people to be the most eager to start a business. We want Black people to be the most eager to go buy property. We want Black people to be the first ones to go buy shares of stock. You can actually buy shares of stock on your Cash App right now, so it's very easy to do. It's not hard anymore, right? And in fact, I talked to one of the young ladies I mentor, and she actually hit me up today and said, "Hey, I got the pre-approval letter on my first house." And we talked a lot about how much money, how many hundreds of thousands of dollars you give away when you rent for the time of your life as opposed to own, right? So we're very big on ownership in our family. And when I say family, I'm talking about all the God kids that I've mentored and everybody else. Now, why does that come up? Why does that matter here? Well, because as I thought about this plan and I laid it out, and you guys know finance is my thing. Right, you guys know that's my background. That's I make no secret about that, and I repeat it because I want to make sure people know I'm not just some guy, some quack just running his mouth on the internet. You have a lot of bad economic ideas being thrown out by people who think that because they're having a big YouTube channel makes them a PhD. Now, those ain't the same thing. It's fine that you have a YouTube channel, but you're not a financial expert just because you think that your plan is going to work. It requires study, it requires data. And one of the things I can tell you is that based on my research, Africa it should be a part of the economic plan for Black people in America, especially. Africa must be part of that plan. Why do I say that? Well, because, well, first of all, one of the benefits to you of investing in Africa and connecting in the diaspora, really thinking about Ghana as, maybe you could think of it as Southern Detroit, or you can think of it as, I don't know, Eastern Baltimore or something if you want to, because investing solely in the United States for Black people, us having our whole economic engine right in the same land that's run by people like Donald Trump, is not going to be a winning strategy for us. If everything that you have, all your economic infrastructure exists within one country, meaning the United States, or even one continent, you don't have what is called a global diversified strategy. You're not globally diversified. You're going to end up being, in a position where you're very vulnerable. They can come in there and they can come take you down just like that. Now, somebody's asking about the average price of land in Ghana. The average price of land in Ghana is not that. Honestly, it's not like it's super cheap or anything. There are areas that are more rural that are very inexpensive. I'm going to ask around about that, but it's not like you can just run in here and go into the middle of Accra and just buy a bunch of land and not pay anything. Some of the land is actually more expensive in some cases than it is in the United States in some areas of the U.S. So don't think that it's just an easy grab, because what's happening is that the Chinese are beating you to it in a lot of cases. The Chinese are buying lots of property in Ghana. They're buying lots of infrastructure here in other places because they see what you don't see. They see that Africa is the richest continent on the planet. Why do I say Africa is the richest continent on the planet? Well, because Africa has the most abundant natural resources. Give me a yes or no if you're aware of how much or how wealthy Africa is in terms of resources. Yes or no? Are you aware of the fact that the continent that many of you have been taught to reject has all the greatest resources? Yes or no? Did you know, or yes or no, are you aware that that the Europeans have come over and set up several ports to extract all the gold and all the minerals out of the ground? Are you aware of that? Are you aware that they come over for everything from timber to oil to all of that? Are you aware of that? Yes. Africa is the richest continent on the planet. So here's what you got to understand. Africa is a natural trading partner for Black Americans, the same way Italy is a natural trading partner for Americanized Italians. The same way Chinese people should connect to China, you should be connecting to Africa. When you get off the plane in Africa, I want you to be prepared for the shock of not feeling nervous and uncomfortable the way you do when you're in, Des Moines, Iowa or something. Right? I want you to prepare for that. You get off the plane and everybody looks like you. Being Black is not a big deal anymore because everybody's Black, and there's different kinds of Black people, and it's not like in the United States where a lot of Black people feel like they have to fit a certain stereotype. It is a place where the Black people are all different. They're different kinds of people, and you feel a type of connection, a type of love. You'll meet people there, or in African countries, who will look just like your relatives back home. You'll say, "My gosh, I feel like I live here. I feel like I was born here," and that's natural. I realized that the reason it felt so natural is because the way I was living before was unnatural. The reason I felt like it was so natural was because were born in an unnatural situation. The reason that you feel uncomfortable with family is because you were born in an orphanage. You were born as orphan children. You were born like the little child who lived in the orphanage or lived in the foster care, and everybody had their natural mama around except for you. So you thought that was the way it was supposed to be. So you spend your life kind of mad. Anybody, yes or no? Yes or no? Do you ever spend your life kind of feeling mad and isolated and feeling like you're always sort of, every time you turn around, some person that's not Black is doing something to offend you, or you're always dealing with the barbecue Beckys and all the other nonsense that what's the other one, the peppermint Patty, I forgot what her name was, but you're dealing with racist police officers and neighborhoods where they don't want you around, or you go to work every day and you're the only Black person on the job. Well, the reason that is actually, well, that's unnatural for you, but that's actually an expected outcome, is because you're not home. This really is not your home. I'm not saying you shouldn't, that you don't have a right to the United States. I'm not saying that at all. You have a right to everything that's here. We know what we built, right? We know these things. We know that as former slaves, we built all this. Ain't no question about it. You should fight for it. If they ask you if you want reparations sent to your house, say yes, no problem, no question. But the problem is, that, when I come over here, right, and I see all the black people here, and then every now and then I'll see a little sprinkle of whiteness. I'll see a white person here, or I see an Asian person here, and in almost every single case I've seen, they're always surrounded. They're the ones who are like, wow, look at all these black people, right? They're the ones who are out of place. They're the ones who are in the minority. They become the minorities when you are in your natural home, right? And so ultimately, you feel like the minority because you're not really in your natural space. Doesn't mean you shouldn't be there. I'm just saying that if you want to feel comfortable, then you probably should consider coming back home. That's just my 2 cents. Please hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't done it, please hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. And I want to remind you guys, if you're interested in teaching wealth to your children, we have a great wealth building program called blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. So go to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. And if you use the code word podcast, you can actually get 30% off for your children. It's a business school for children that we created that where our guarantee is that your child will have a financial literacy level that exceeds the average college educated adult. If your child does not have a financial literacy level that exceeds the average college educated adult, then we will give you your money back. Okay, so go to blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. That would be a great gift for your children to put your family ahead of the curve. All right, so one other thing. So what I'll also throw out to you is this. One of the couple of reasons why many of us as African Americans don't want to go to Africa or invest in Africa is very interesting. I knew a young lady from Ghana whose father was from Ghana, and she went to school like a lot of us. She went to a white university, white high school, white, everything. And you know how it is. You grow up, you get some of y'all get all white everything, and we think that's normal. Consume white media. She thought white was more attractive than black. She thought white was superior to black. She felt comfortable around white people more so than around black people. And one day I said, why don't you go to Ghana? I said, you always want to go to Europe. Why don't you want to go to Ghana? You're always wanting to go to Europe. And she said, why would I want to go to Ghana? And I said, because that's where you're from. She said, well, what do you mean? I don't want to go to Ghana. I don't, and I had to educate her. I said, I remember talking to her and saying, no, actually, let's do some research on this. I need you to see where you're from and see how great Ghana is. And now here's the thing, since that time, she evolved immensely. She actually wants to be in Ghana. She wants to visit. She's visiting soon. She connected with her Ghanaian family, because her father wasn't there, and that disconnect occurred. And it made me really think about how we get whitewashed in America. And a lot of the reason you get whitewashed in America to think that everything about Africa is backward, everything about Africa is inferior, everything about Africa is just is just savage and everything else, right? You ever see that? Does anybody, yes or no? Does anybody notice that in media, how Africa is always portrayed as people swinging from trees and eating bananas and really hanging out with monkeys and gorillas and stuff? But yes or no? Does anybody notice this in media, how Africa is always portrayed in one particular way, and it's not in a way where you say, God, I want to go over there. You don't want to be a part of that, right? Because they portray it in a way that makes you feel happy that it kidnapped your family and made you into slaves. Like you're really thanking your lucky stars. Like you might, I don't know. Does anybody remember when Soulja Boy the rapper did that video where he was a kid, but it was the craziest thing I've heard anybody say. And he said, "Big ups to the slave masters, because if it wasn't for the slave masters, I wouldn't be over here in the United States getting my gold and my ice and stuff." Right? He literally said, if it wasn't for the slave masters, I would not have all this gold and ice and diamonds on me. Right? Like he literally was giving thanks to slave masters for kidnapping his family and bringing him to the United States. And that's interesting. I mean, just as a side note, Africa has a lot more gold than the United States. By the way, much of the gold here comes from Africa, because you have the richest continent in the world. Just in case Soulja Boy is watching, just in case he still has that crazy thought in his head. Now, I'm not saying that he still thinks this way, but that was really an interesting thought, because that was the product of brainwashing. So a lot of the reason that a lot of us don't want to go to Africa, don't want to connect on Africa, don't want to think about Africa, is because we've been fed misinformation about Africa. You've been fed media that pretty much makes Africa look very, very bad. If you think about it when you were in school, what did you learn in school about African history? Did you learn anything? When you were in high school, did they teach you anything about the greatness of Africa and all the great things that were done over the 30,000 years of history that occurred back when Europeans were still eating in caves and eating their children and all this other stuff? Did you learn anything about Africa and all the great things that were done in Africa and how Africa has contributed to humanity in every single way? Have you seen any of that? No, you did not see that in school. Do you think that was an accident? Yes or no? Or do you think that it was just an oversight? Or do you think that that was a plan? Do you think that the misinformation was something that they wanted to do, or something that just sort of happened just by happenstance? It was something that they wanted to do. It was something they wanted to do. And so what I do is, instead of just turning the lens on them, though, because we know what their behavior is going to be, we know what they're going to do to keep you uninformed, we know what they're going to do to keep you ignorant. I turn the lens back on you. I turn the lens back on you. So give me a yes or no answer to this question. I got to get my charger to charge this phone up. Give me a yes or no answer to this question. Um, do you trust white-owned media outlets? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no to let me know. Do you trust that white-owned media outlets are going to be fair and honest and balanced with black people? Yes or no? Do you trust white-owned media outlets to do justice by you, to do right by you? Hollywood, do you trust Hollywood? Yes or no? Do you trust local TV to tell the story the right way? Do you trust media in general to reflect black people around the world in an accurate way? Yes or no? Okay, now answer this question, yes or no? Another yes or no question. Just answer in the chat, because I know it's very basic and very simple, but we sometimes typing your response requires, it forces your brain to critically think. That's why I'm asking you to physically type it in, not just to sit and think it. I want you to physically say it, so your brain is committed to understanding what's being said, as opposed to you sitting there just consuming information. You're actively engaging the information. Yes or no? Do you trust white schools to educate black children properly? Yes or no? Do you trust that black children we spend all the time talking about the public schools and getting our kids into white people's schools and stuff? Do you trust these schools to properly educate black children? Got kids coming out, can't read, can't write, but they got all the Cardi B lyrics memorized, and they know that George Washington is their favorite slave master. Um, do you trust the school system to properly educate black children? Yes or no? Okay. Well, I ask you this: if you don't trust the media, the responses are overwhelmingly no. We know what types of people that come to this platform. If you don't trust the media and you don't trust the school system, then why the hell do you put so much faith in these two institutions when it comes to the shaping of black people's minds in America? Like, why do you, if you don't trust them, then why do you trust them? That's the question I'm at. Think about this. I consciously ask you, do you trust them? But yet you trust them every single day of the week. First thing you do as a black person is you hand your child over to a white person and say, here, educate my baby. And then when they don't do it, you get mad and you want to go march and scream and go get with Al Sharpton and hold a rally, right? Because you feel like they violated Brown versus Board of Education. Then you want to go and do a Black Lives Matter, event or something or whatever, right? So you say you don't trust them, but you really trust them. You say you don't trust them, but you really trust them. Because if you didn't trust them, you wouldn't consume so much white media, and you wouldn't put them, in these schools. Like, seriously. So you say you don't trust them, but you do, right? It's what it is, right? It's an inherent contradiction. And so ultimately, what I would just say to you at the end of the day is that if you really want to understand Africa, I encourage you to get access to African media outlets so they can give you a more accurate portrayal of Africa and what's happening here. If you really want to understand Africa, I encourage you to go get on a plane, fly somewhere. I've been to countries I've been to Nigeria, Botswana, South Africa, and Ghana. And I'm trying to build my Africa resume. I'm trying to get to, I'm trying to get to over 100 countries, or I want to, or whatever. I want to get all around the world. I want to go to a lot of different countries around the globe, and I want to really set my boots into Africa repeatedly. So the same way I'm in trying to educate myself consistently, I want you to educate yourself as well. Come to Africa, just go there. Just you're gonna go to Europe and California and all this other stuff. Get your ticket, save up, take your family and go across the sea. The next thing I'll say too is a lot of the reason, actually, before I move on, please do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit right now on the count of three, everybody, please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Also, make sure you subscribe to the Black Financial Channels, theblackfinancialchannel.com. I'm broadcasting there as well. I like to simulcast sometimes. So if you're interested in financial stuff and that's something that you really like to consume information on, go subscribe, theblackfinancialchannel.com, THE. Where was I in Botswana? I don't remember. It was I think the capital city, but I got to go double check. I got to ask my friend Nomalanga. Another reason that we're disconnected from Africa and we don't want to do any investing there is because we have this nationalist movement. this nationalist movement in our community where we want to somehow believe that in general African people look down on us. We want to believe that Africans are scammers, as Colston TV says. He says, "Old news, bro." Okay, Colston TV. You know what? I'm not even gonna like. Normally, I mean, honestly, your comment sounds a little trollish, but I'm not gonna push you off just yet because I think that this statement that you make about Africans are scammers, Africans don't even like us, facts. I'm really hoping that um, you actually are trying to have a productive conversation. If I see you two getting too nasty with it, too disrespectful, I'm going to have to ask you to go. But actually, I'm glad that he made those comments because that's what a lot of us say, and we are ignorant as hell. I'm just telling you, they know more about you than you know about them. A lot of people that say things about Africans have gotten all their information from white people. They've gotten propaganda. They've been filled with a bunch of lies or whatever. And really, you sounded a little bit like a white supremacist right now. You sounded like, you could easily be a member of the Klan. And so ultimately, people that think that way, it's kind of been fascinating because I remember, for example, I'll give you an example. I was in, when I was in Ghana, I was talking to a lady and she said something like, she said, "Yeah, we're going to bang out the contract or something about something." And I said, "Bang? Like somebody got shot?" And she said, "No." She said, "No, I said, we're going to bang out the contract." And I said, "Oh, I thought you said bang, bang, like shooting." And she said, "Oh no, we don't bang bang here. We just in Ghana, people don't shoot each other in Ghana." Like that's that. And I said, "Yeah, well, in the U.S., I'm from Chicago. We bang bang. Like there's a lot of bang bang in Chicago." She said, "Oh no, we don't bang bang here in Ghana." Right. And now, not to say nobody's ever got shot in Ghana. Let's just be clear about that. I assume it happens, but it's not on the same level. So here's the deal. Here's why I'm bringing up this point. The same way that you might hear about an African who scams somebody, or the same way you might hear about an African who says something disrespectful about African Americans. Well, guess what? People here, they hear what they're giving them bad propaganda about you. They're hearing about cities like Chicago where so many black people are shooting each other up. So it's easy for a person who's not informed to think if I go to Chicago or if I go to the black community, they're going to shoot me up because they're disrespectful and they don't care about it. They don't even care about each other. They don't even respect each other enough to preserve each other's life. So we don't want to go deal with them because they're just shooting each other up. They're going to shoot me just because I'm black, right? Who heard of that? There's a black person who shoots other black people because they're black, right? So the same way you might be disrespectful toward them, they're disrespectful toward you. Now, what is that? What's happening here? What's happening is what you call divide and conquer. If I lie to you and tell you one thing about your brother, that he's a snake, he's a dirt bag, he's going to rob you, he's going to hurt you, then you're not going to even want to talk to your brother. You're going to take my word for it. And then if I tell your brother, "Oh, he's a SOB, he's a son of a blankety blank," right? Then you're not going to want to talk to him either. And so the only way you can overcome the divide is to compare notes. That I went through an experience like that a long time ago. A long time ago, when I was 25, I met this man. And this is a true story. He lived in Louisville, Kentucky, where I was from. And he came off to me like a mentor. He was trying to be a mentor to me and talk to me and give me all this advice. And he was real wise. He was real smooth. He's kind of like a little bit like a pimp. And but in a good way, but you can see he was good with people and he knew how to say things. And he was twice my age, so I listened to this man. Well, there's a point where I would ask him, fatherly advice. Like I'd ask him about women, and he would talk about my girlfriend. He'd be like, "Oh, she's no good for you. This is gonna happen in your relationship. You really should move on. She's not the right person for you. Blah 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 blah." Right? Well, here's the problem. He also was a mentor to my girlfriend at the time. He was a mentor to her, and in his mentor capacity, he would give her advice separately from me. And so she would say, "Well, I'm having these problems with Boyce and blah, 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 blah," because we both kind of trusted him a little bit. I started getting skeptical after a while, but she, the trust was there. And so as a mentor to her, he's saying, "Oh, well, Boyce he's a terrible boyfriend. It's not gonna work out. He doesn't love you. He blah, 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 blah." Right. And so basically I was like, okay, something ain't right. Okay, wait, this dude is telling me that she ain't no good. And then I go and talk to her and I compare notes with her. And I say, what did he say to you about such and such and such and such? She's like, oh, he told me this is this. I said, well, let me tell you what he said about you to me. Right? Oh, and she gets pissed. She's like, what? He said, what? He didn't, he never said nothing like that. I said, yes, he did. And I had to actually record a conversation to prove to her that this man was speaking out of both sides of his neck. And so here's what happened. Here's how we shut his butt down. We shut his ass down by getting together and communicating and comparing notes. And when I compared my notes to her notes, and I told her about what he was saying to me, and she told me what he was saying to her, we were like, okay, this man is full of crap. He's running game right now. And it wasn't a coincidence that this man at the age of 50 something had a bunch of 25-year-old girlfriends. And many of these 25-year-old girlfriends used to date young men that he mentored. So I was like, oh, you ain't playing me, sucker. You ain't gonna play me like a fool, you jackass. So I went to this man's house and I was like, don't you ever talk to me or my woman again. If I want to hear, if my woman needs advice or my woman wants to get counseling, she's gonna get it from me. I'm gonna get it from her. We're gonna talk to each other. We cut out the middleman so that we can't be manipulated by your propaganda anymore. This was a true story. It happened when I was 25 years old. I'm not kidding. This is exactly what happened. So for Black people who have the same roots, we all are connected to the original man. We all came out of Africa, white, Black, and otherwise, but us directly, us more directly. We got the melanin. I'm just telling you that if you want to get around the propaganda, the white man's playing you the same way that man tried to play me. They playing you with this media, and they're telling you one thing, and then telling them another thing. And then when y'all get together, y'all only want to talk to each other because you already have been fed and injected and toxified and poisoned with a preconceived notion of each other that is negative. So that's where you get the African Americans who say, well, them Africans, they just look down on us. They don't even like us, right? And then you get to the Africans who come over, they're like, these African Americans, they just want to bang bang and shoot each other up, and they don't have any respect, and they all act like Killmonger and want to come in and destroy African culture, right? And because they're watching media and they're seeing reality TV and they're seeing Black people being portrayed to look like buffoons. They're showing, I just keep going down the list. I mean, do you know what hip hop music? David Banner, the rapper David Banner, shout out to David. David, actually, he's in a documentary called The Nigga Factory. And in the documentary, David Banner said when he started going around the globe and saw what hip hop was doing to the image of African-American people, what hip hop was making us look like around the world, he said, I can't be a part of this. I can't be a part of this. So at the end of the day, I'm telling you guys, I'm not sitting here trying to say that there ain't no disrespectful Africans out here. I mean, there's disrespectful people everywhere. In fact, I would ask you, who's more disrespectful to you, Africans or white people? Yes, which one? Which one? Would you say that white people would probably be considered to be more disrespectful to you than Africans? I'm not trying to say every African loves Black people. There's probably some Africans like, I do not want to talk to these African Americans. They're garbage, right? Maybe there are, and I'm not even saying they don't exist, but I need to ask y'all. Are you really that scared of your brother that you're going to run to the people who beat and enslaved you for 400 years? Who did terrible things to your grandmama, which is why half of y'all in here are probably light-skinned? Like, are you really going to tell me that you feel safer with your oppressor than you feel with your natural brother? Are you out of your damn mind? If you say yes to this, then I need you to leave my channel, go get you some medication and get you about 10 years of therapy, because my God, that is the sickest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I'm not sitting here trying to say everybody in Africa is a nice person. I'm sure there's plenty of places I could go in Africa where I could get carjacked right now. Right? I'm not saying that every African is on code, right, at all. But I know a lot of African Americans who ain't on code either. I know a lot of African Americans who would jack me up and take my money and rob me and rape my daughter. I know plenty of African Americans who ain't right. Now, and so the same way you cannot judge all African Americans based on the actions of the select few, it ain't right to judge an entire continent with 1 billion people based on a couple of rumors you heard from white folks. Because I've been in Ghana, and the whole time I've been here, it's been nothing but love. Nothing. Now, I'm talking about literally nothing but complete, total love. I have not seen 1 ounce of non-love anywhere. And you can't tell me I'm going to go get that in Iowa. If I go to Iowa, 1 out of every 4 white folks is going to look at me funny and treat me funny and whatever it is. So I'm just telling you, man, if you really are that screwed up in the head, I want to pray for you. I'm gonna just go to white Jesus, black Jesus, and baby Jesus and pray for you because you've been played, you've been bamboozled. Please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button right now. If you haven't done it, please do that. Also, somebody asked, do we have a special in the Young Black and Rich program? Young Black and Rich is a program we have actually in the Black Business School for young people that want tips on how to become wealthy. It's actually, you can get a degree out of that program, like a certificate from the Black Business School, a certificate of achievement. So feel free to go to theblackbusinessschool.com, that's theblackbusinessschool.com. Go to the page and talk to one of the reps, and they can give you a big discount. Tell them I said to give you the best discount that they have, and tell them Boyce sent you. So just go to theblackbusinessschool.com and just ask them about whatever program you're interested in, whether it's the kids program or whatever, or real estate, all this stuff, and just tell them I said to give you the best discount, and they'll take your word for it because we go on the honor system. So the last couple of things I'll say in terms of why we don't invest in Africa is there is a false perception that investing in Africa only benefits Africa, right? There's a false perception that as Black people, that if I go to Africa, I've had people say this. I've had people say no, Boyce, don't go over to Africa and start a business or build a school because you need to do stuff right here in America. We need to build up here in America. And I agree. I'm not saying I disagree with that at all. I'm not saying that at all. I do want to build up in America. That's absolutely going to happen. That's happening now. I've gone to over probably 50, 60 cities or something in the last 2 or 3 years, building up America. I've invested millions in building up America, and I'm going to continue to do that. But I think that anybody who thinks that investing in Africa is simply done to benefit Africa doesn't understand what investing actually is supposed to do. Investing is not the same as charity. Charity is when I give you $100 and you give me nothing, right? That's me giving you something and you giving me nothing back, right? That's like us agreeing to go into the bedroom and getting it on, and I enjoy myself and have a great time, and you get nothing out of the deal. So if you and I slept together, or let's say you slept with somebody of the opposite sex or the same sex, I'm not judging. Whatever it is you do, what you do is what you do. And let's say that somebody says, I'd like to sleep with you. I'd like to take you home and get into bed with you at some point. Maybe after we dated for a couple months or whatever, or a couple weeks or a couple days. I'm not judging. And I want us to get it on. I want us to get down. And here's what's going to happen. I'm going to really enjoy myself, and you're not. I'm going to really have a great time, and you're going to get nothing out of the deal. Would you want to have sex with a person like that? Would you want to sleep with somebody who basically tells you in advance that they're going to get everything and you're going to get nothing? Give me a yes or no. Give me a yes or no if that would be appealing to you. And while we do that, I want to say thank you, Devin Fleming, for your donation. Some of y'all missed. I apologize. I was getting into it. Doc, my friend ES just moved to Ghana, into Mali, met the Chiefs and King, and broke ground yesterday. Oh, bought land and broke ground. I love it. Check her YouTube out. Okay, so that is into Tamale, met the Chiefs and King. Her friend ES, your friend ES. Okay. I think you got to put the YouTube. It's Eat, Love, Migrate. Eat, Love, Migrate. So that's the Eat, Love, Migrate. Okay, that's the name of the channel. So if you want to learn more about their experience, go to Eat, Love, Migrate. Okay, thank you for the donation. Oh, sorry, I'm sneezing. Oh gosh. So yeah. So would you want to sleep with somebody if they told you in advance that they're going to enjoy themselves and you're going to get nothing out of the deal? Would that be appealing to you? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no. I saw a lot of no's popping in. I saw a lot of people saying no and saying, no, I wouldn't do that, right? Which means you have common sense. Congratulations. Well, investing is kind of like that in the sense that investing is different from charity. Charity, in a way, at least from a financial standpoint, or doing something that's lopsided, a lopsided deal, is like sleeping with somebody where they're enjoying themselves and getting the world out of it, and you get nothing back. And that's not how investing is supposed to work. If I invest in Africa, that is not charity in Africa. That is not aid. That is not me sending a donation and expecting nothing back. Investing in its best form is supposed to be like making good, sweet love to somebody that you really are attracted to. Investing is supposed to be like making good love, because if you have good love with somebody, you can enjoy yourself all you want, but they should enjoy themselves too. The best way to get together I was giving a young guy advice not too long ago, and he was asking me about the ladies, and he said, yeah, I met this girl, and we dated for a while, and we got together, and this happened, that happened. He said, now she keeps blowing up my phone. She keeps on ringing me because she wants to go do it again. And I was like, congratulations, good for you. Okay, that's good. That means you got good customer service, because when you get repeat customers, that shows that you're doing a good job, right? Now, how you deal with your personal problems with the women and all that, that's up to you. But at the very least, the fact that you repeatedly told me about women that continuously keep coming back to you. And again, I don't judge. I really don't judge anybody's personal life. I promise you I don't. But I said, the fact that you keep telling me stories about women coming back and asking for a repeat performance, I said, that means whatever you're doing in the bedroom, and I don't need to know all those details, but whatever you're doing, it's working, right? It's working, right? Because if what you're doing ain't working, I know, a little bit about women. I ain't no expert. I can't teach you how to mac a woman. I can teach you how to love a woman, but I can't teach you how to mac one. But from what I know about women, if your stuff is whack and your stuff is lame, then she's going to move on with her life. Am I correct? Ladies, am I correct? If the equipment ain't good, if he doesn't know what he's doing, if it's not a good experience, then you're going to move on with your life, right? So basically, the same thing is true with investing. Investing is supposed to be a lot like love. That's why I actually talk about love. We have Boyce Watkins films. You guys know we make movies, and one of our movies franchises is called The Black Love Blueprint. And people say, well, Doc, why are you talking about love and relationships? You're supposed to be talking about investing. Well, if you don't understand that that investing in business is all about relationships, then you need to go take one of my classes, and we need to talk, because investing is all about relationships. All I've done since I got to Ghana 2-3 days ago, the majority of our time has been spent building relationships. We'll sit down with somebody from the government, and ain't nobody sitting down saying, okay, I got some money. I need your money. Can you give me money right now? Don't nobody do that. They sit down and say, oh, so tell me about yourself. So where are you from? How many children do you have? Oh, you went to that school. I went to that school too. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Right. That's what you're building a relationship. You're forming relationships, because relationships build trust. Trust leads to further connection, because both parties feel comfortable coming together, and then boom, the magic happens. That's when you're making financial love. That's why one of the first books I ever wrote. First book I wrote was actually called Everything You Ever Want to Know About College. The second book I wrote was called What If George Bush Were a Black Man? And the third book I wrote was called Financial Lovemaking, because love and business are just like each other. If you know how to form relationships, then you got all the business skills that you need. Does anybody know this? Does anybody understand this? Please say something in the chat to confirm what I'm saying. If you know how to form relationships, that is better than going to Harvard Business School. Going to Harvard Business School will not give you what the ability to form healthy, happy, productive relationships will do for you in the world of business. So ultimately, investing and doing business together is about forming a productive relationship, about making sweet financial love in a way where both parties walk away with a happy ending, where both parties feel so good and the high is so great, and you walk away and you're like, whoa, this is good. Oh, God, can we do it again? Right? They ain't even got to ask you for money no more. You trying to give them money, right? You know what I'm talking about? Like, where it's so good, you like, okay, what can I do to get some more of that? Like, I really want to see you again as soon as possible right now, right? That's what, seriously, has anybody ever gone through that? Did anybody ever done business with somebody? I'm gonna tell you, if you ever want to get the greatest feeling in the world, find somebody you can do business with where you can make money with that person. Like when you do something and you start a little business, or you make a little venture, or you invest in something, and you get that check coming back in the mail, or that direct deposit in your account, and you're making money because you're together and you're doing things together. I'm telling you, I've made sweet love, and I've also done good business, and both of them feel pretty much almost equally good. Almost equally good, not quite the same, but pretty good. So I'm just telling you guys, like, that's what investing is supposed to be. Investing ain't nothing but relationship building, trust, and love. And if you are a good person and you are approaching it the right way, then you will be an excellent business partner. It won't even be a situation where you have to go get somebody to give you their money, right? You have like a lot of us think of that way. Like we think about making a sale, like, gosh, I gotta convince them to give me their money, or somebody buy something from me. They say, oh, I just wanted to support you. Well, that's bad for them to say, oh, I want to support your business. That's why I'm spending money with your business. Yeah, that's nice, but really that's not actually a compliment, because if they're just giving you money money and buying from you because they're trying to support you, then what they're implying to you is that they're engaging in a doctrine of unequal exchange, which Dr. Claude Anderson talks about in Powernomics. In Powernomics, the doctrine of unequal exchange is when you're giving something up and not receiving something back that is of equal or higher value than what you've given. The doctrine that does not sustain itself. Charity does not sustain itself. Right. So what you really want is not for somebody to say, I bought from you because I want to support you. You want somebody to say, I bought from you because this really, really benefits me. And I really want to buy from you some more. I got some more money. Will you please take my money? Will you please? When they're begging you to take their money, that means that you have offered them a quality product. That means you have offered them a quality experience. It means you have offered them a quality investment. Right. When Jay-Z made an investment into Uber, he invested in Uber, and when Uber shot up in value and Jay-Z made a ton of money, do you know what Jay-Z did? Jay-Z texted the guy who started Uber and begged him to take $5 million. It wasn't no like charity, like, hey man, you can invest in the hood. Come on, man. Come on, man. You got to put some money in the hood there. No. Jay-Z hit the dude up and said, hey, I got another $5 million. Can I put five? I can wire it now. Will you please take my money? You know what happened? The dude said, no, that's okay. We're good. We're good. You know, right. So because they didn't need the money, because they were offering a quality investment in return for the money. So in an investment, it's not like charity. Charity is like, I'm here, you're here, I'm going to give you a bunch of money. And there are people in Africa who have wised up to the fact that they don't want a bunch of charity anymore. They don't want crumbs. They don't want people. They want foreign aid. That's a poverty trap. There's a whole documentary, I think it's called Poverty Inc. on YouTube, where they talk about how all this aid is keeping Africa in poverty, right? In African countries, right? No, they don't want that. They want this. They want this. They want investment. And investment means that you win and I win. You put up your capital, you're going to get money back, more money back than you put in, and we get the money that we need in order to make investments move forward, and everybody wins. So investing is a lot like making love. If you ever make love with another person, you better damn sure do all you can to make sure that they enjoy the experience as much as you do, or they won't be coming back. They'll consider getting with you to be a drain, and they're not going to be interested in you anymore. Do you get what I'm saying? Give me a yes or no if you get what I'm saying. Charles Smart says, intelligent Black at his finest. Thank you, man. Thank you so much for your donation, Charles, and thank you for your kind words. I am flattered, and I'm extremely grateful that you took the time to make that statement. I'm also happy that there are some folks out here that appreciate intelligence. Because I'm gonna tell you like this, a few thousand people might watch this video by the time we're done. I don't have a tiny platform. We reach 1 million Black people a week. But I'll tell you what, I mentioned to you guys earlier, Cardi B's in town. And Cardi B can go to most Black communities around the globe and in a lot of other non-Black communities and fill up an entire stadium. So the fact that a Cardi B can fill up a stadium, but Black economic empowerment would have a hard time getting 1/1000th of that audience is really all you need to know about where we are as a people. Right. The fact that the fact that I could come speak at a high school and Cardi B could be there on the same day, and the gymnasium where Cardi B is talking is going to be full, and the one where I'm talking is only going to have 50 people in it, pretty much tells you why you're falling behind economically, because a big part of where you end up economically is based on where you spend your time. If you spend your time learning economics and you have your children spending their time learning how to become wealthy, then they're going to become wealthy. They're going to understand economics. They're going to get ahead. They're not going to feel sorry for themselves. They're not going to be kicked around and oppressed, right? But if you're spending most of your time memorizing Cardi B lyrics, and the only way you're going to get ahead is if maybe you learn how to become a stripper like her, learn how to just, she tells you that she can go and take you in the bathroom and do some things to your body that'll make you feel good, and then you give her $20 for that, right? That's what she raps about to your daughters, right? So ultimately, at the end of the day, if you want to really understand where we're going, all you got to do is understand what we're doing on a daily basis. And that tells you everything you need to know. Because I can tell you like this, if Black folks spent the majority of our time figuring out how to get ahead economically, then Black people would end up getting ahead economically. The Jewish community doesn't spend more time memorizing rap lyrics than they spend understanding how to build empires. Am I right? Do you agree? Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm not putting them on a pedestal. I'm not saying that oppression ain't real. I'm not saying that people ain't gonna try to take your stuff. Guess what? That's how the world works. Stop acting like you expect these other communities to care about you. I don't even understand this mindset of people saying, oh, they don't care about black people. Well, of course they don't. Do you sit around all day trying to figure out, I wonder how we can help Chinese kids get food, or I wonder how we can help Jewish children, to feel like somebody cares about them, right? Do you do that? Do you sit around saying, I wonder how we can ensure that Arab children are getting a good education. Gosh, we got, Vicky Dillard, I'm gonna get to you. Let's have a meeting tomorrow, and we're gonna talk about how we can make sure that the Chinese community is doing better than it was yesterday. Would you like to have that meeting, Vicky, or would you say, Doc, I'd like to talk about something else. I got something else to do. And I'm not trying to be cynical toward people who see the world differently. I understand why they see the world differently. It goes back to what I was saying in the beginning about media. You're getting your media and your education from the wrong sources. What you thought was an education was actually an indoctrination, right? It was actually a Trojan horse that was inserted inside your body, inside your mind, inside your spirit. And then it releases itself. And then next thing you know, you run around here looking stupid, looking like Boo Boo the Fool, doing all these stupid things. And you don't even know why you're doing the stupid things. And you think these stupid things are going to give you a positive result. And then you wonder why you're doing all these things and you still end up in the cage. Well, it's because from the very beginning, they injected the Trojan horse poison into your body, into your spirit, into your mind. And now you run around here looking crazy. So I think we need a detox. Seriously. I'm telling you, man, that black people, we need a spiritual, intellectual detox. And until we do that, we're going to always be confused. We're going to always be left behind. We're going to always be mad. And we're going to always be getting our butt kicked. So I want to end on a positive note and say that the reason you're here today, right now, and listening to me, as opposed to going and watching like some stupid reality TV show with black people acting like animals, is because you understand this. You get this. And I applaud you for that. I really respect you. I respect, you know what, when people say, Doc, I really respect what you're doing, I say, man, I respect you because you respect me. Because the fact that you respect what I respect tells me that you're worthy of respect. It tells me that you figured something out. It tells me you climbed out of the matrix a little bit and you see the world a little bit clearer than you might have seen it in another way, right? Like, so ultimately, I respect you for the fact that you respect me. So we respect each other. How about that? How about that? So that's it. I'm out of here, guys. Have a good day. I'm about to go take my fat butt down to the gym. Tomorrow we're doing a long trip and we're going to go, I think, to the coast. And that's where we're going to see the slave dungeons and everything else. And I expect, the experience is going to be as emotional for me as it is for everybody. And I'm going to try to find a way to frame it and contextualize it so that it doesn't overwhelm me with the emotion. I want to feel the emotion, but I also want to get my message from my ancestors on what I can do next to help us become liberated and empowered in the next 400 years. Because I believe that right now what we're doing as a community is going to have an impact that's going to last for hundreds of years. So I want you to keep on going, keep moving hard, keep living, keep being strong, keep being smart, and you're going to be successful. And I want to say thank you also. Please hit the thumbs up button before we go. Please hit the thumbs up button. Thank you, Sharon Porter, for your donation. I really appreciate that very much. Anybody who wants to help our platform grow, we could really use you as a patron if you would join our League of Intelligent Black People. So it's a club with lots of free benefits. So you can go to intelligentblackpeople.com. That's intelligentblackpeople.com. And we would love to have you as a patron. And we can get you involved in all kinds of stuff we got going on, movies that we're making, all kinds of stuff that are happening. So please go to intelligentblackpeople.com. All right, guys. And also some of you asked about the Black Business School. Yeah, the URL is theblackbusinessschool.com, THE. That's theblackbusinessschool.com. So that's where you can check out my stock market class and our programs for children and stuff like that. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a good day. Love you. See you soon. Take care. Peace.